What a joy it is to witness another Azzi Fudd masterclass. This is my UConn versus Xavier game recap for Wednesday, January 8th. I'm going to jump right into it and talk about player of the game, Azzi Fudd. Azzi had a season-high 23 points. It's the most she scored since early 2023. Again, the comeback has just been such a joy to witness. She seemed very confident driving to the basket today. She got 2 and 1s. Her body control when she's driving into the paint or pulling up for a mid-range jumper is just phenomenal in watching this recent stretch of games. What I did notice was that she was a bit more hesitant driving the ball and she was missing more of her mid-range shots than usual. Maybe the statistics disagree with me because I actually haven't looked at a shot chart for her this season. Those observations were really just from my eye test. I was excited to see her be on target. Azzi shot 60% from 3 today. She went 3 for 5. Such a quick trigger. I mean, I think we all know Azzi Fudd is a sharpshooter. I haven't really been concerned at all about her 3-point shot as she's been working to find her shot since returning from that early season knee sprain. I know some people were a bit more concerned, but I had really no worries at all. And just a beast on defense. I won't be talking in depth about KK Arnold and Ashlyn Shade today, which I'm sure is a shocker. This channel is slowly progressing away from basketball commentary, more towards just being a KK Arnold, Ashlyn Shade fan page. But Azzi, KK, Ashlyn, and Caitlin are just a crazy lineup of guards to have to face defensively. All so quick on their feet, are always in passing lanes, and I need a running total of all the travels Azzi Fudd has forced on defense this season, because I'm sure the number is absurd. What a showing this was. Azzi Fudd, take a bow. It was so great to see her get back in her rhythm and really step up to the plate with Paige being out and the team needing to make up for Paige's offensive production somehow. Azzi definitely rose to the challenge. And you know who else did? The other sharpshooter on UConn, Ali Zabel. Ali played 17 minutes, which was really lovely to see. It's definitely great to be getting her reps. In the second half, Ali entered the game with 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and she played the rest of the third quarter and the entire fourth quarter, hit 5 threes, and every single one of her 9 attempts hit the rim or rolled in and rolled out. Also, KK Arnold laid or kneeled on the floor after Ali drained her 5th three. I looked over at the bench and I was like, why is KK on the floor? What a teammate, what a hype woman. I'm hopeful that with her development in Big East play, Ali will be someone who can really show up in March and be plugged into various lineups to knock down some threes. I think that would be so big for UConn to just add another shooter like that to the mix. I even feel like just in that span of 17 minutes, we were watching Ali slowly get more comfortable on defense. She seemed to be anticipating passes a little better, her hands were more active, she was positioning herself in the right place, which again speaks to the importance of just getting those reps. So in case anyone isn't on the Ali Zabel hype train, it's time to get on. Next, we're going to talk about Jana El-Alfi. Again, one of 4 Huskies in double figures. She only played 5 minutes in the first half, which I am just continuously baffled by how little Gino plays her in the first half. She does always come out stronger in the second half, but I still just don't think it's smart to bench her for such a significant portion of the first half. I don't know what that does, especially because I would expect Jana to play with the starters more as the season progresses. She is the starting center, so I feel like those reps are more important for her future performance and success than late game minutes. She, like Ali, ended up playing about 15 minutes in the second half. In the second half, it was definitely clear that the team was making a much more concerted effort to get her touches and get her involved offensively so she could see her shot go in and build confidence from there. Personally, I think that the first bucket of every UConn half should come from Jana. I want them to feed her first. In the first half, she did miss a layup or two. She was throwing it a little too hard off the glass. In the second half, I definitely think she was taking things a little slower and positioning herself better. The best play I saw from Jana was when I think KK handed her the ball. She was at the free throw line. She turned right, drove, and got an and one. Good shots and points in the low post were, like I said, seemingly a little hard for her to get today. So I was just really impressed by how she adjusted, started at the foul line, took a strong drive, and it clearly paid off. Jana is definitely a really solid presence on defense as well. I do think there is some room for improvement there, but she does have really quick hands. Her hands were up and she was poking loose balls and all of that. Also, I saw her in the background of Gino's post-game press conference handing out little foam basketballs to kids in the stands. She called them over and then handed them each a basketball, and I just thought that was so cute and so sweet. I am so proud and just so excited to see Jana continue to progress. Next, I'm going to talk about Ice Brady. We did see some minutes with Ice at the 4 and Jana at the 5, which is a lineup that I want Gino to run a little more and experiment with. I think even though Jana there is down low in the post, I do think funnily enough that it opens up space for Ice. She had a good mid-range shot off the glass, which I think is and has proven to be both this year and last year the strongest facet of Ice's game. If she's knocking in that mid-range, I think that puts UConn in a really solid place, so I would definitely like to see more of that from her. Ice didn't actually enter the game until about 3 minutes into the second quarter. So I feel like that's kind of being pushed back later and later. It's pretty clear at this point, and I think it has been clear ever since Jana was moved to the starting lineup, that she is now the starting center for this team, and Ice has been moved to that 8th man spot. I think the reps in Big East play will definitely help her get more comfortable, and I think that developing her for March, of course, is the priority. But she very clearly showed up big in the Big East tournament last year. She was on the tournament team, and I would love to see that again from Ice. So even though she kind of has been relegated to that 8th man spot, hopefully we'll just get more comfortable and more consistent going into March. I am definitely rooting for Ice Brady. The last player I am going to talk about is Morgan Shelley. Honestly, I feel like there were quite a few players who could have slotted into this last spot, but Morgan did get a lot of minutes today. She got the second most on the team after Caitlin Chen, so she was in a lot, and I saw a lot of her that I was really impressed by. I've said this before, and I'm just going to continue to drive the point home. Morgan is so attentive on defense. I think she displays great lateral movement. I think it's already progressed a lot in this really short time span. She's switching and going around ball screens really well. That one pass where she was looking up at the basket but dished it off to Sarah was nasty. I love to see that connection between freshmen. All three of them, Sarah, Morgan, and Allie, really do seem to assist each other a lot. Always great to see. The players have said this, but Morgan already displays strong leadership qualities even as a freshman. Very, very promising for the future. But one thing is that I can always hear Gino screaming. Morgan sometimes will make several mistakes in a row. For example, at one point in this game, I think she traveled, and then on the next play, she fouled a Xavier player, and Gino was definitely yelling her name on the sidelines. But he does tend to keep her in even after she's made a mistake or two, which is good. That's what freshman year and Big East play is for. I'm struggling to figure out why he doesn't do the same with Jana, but clearly the coaching staff, the fans, and I have a lot of faith in Morgan Shelley. Just again, another strong performance from her. Finally, my thoughts on the game overall. This is kind of a difficult game to assess overall because the Xavier team is just not very good, respectfully. I think the broadcast said that they had lost over 40 Big East games in a row, so with that in mind, it's a little difficult to compare to some previous Big East games against tougher opponents. Still, I thought UConn played really solidly today. Starting off in Q1, UConn ended the first quarter up 21-6. Azzi and Sarah and Ashlyn were on offensively. They were playing really strong defense, forcing a lot of turnovers, but it still somehow felt a little bit slow, and I kind of wonder if it has to do with the fact that Gino was kind of swapping people in and out of the lineups every minute or so. Took out Azzi and then Jana, and then at some point Caitlin, and then put Caitlin back in. It was just a lot. I again am very for experimenting with lineups at this stage of the season, but I do also feel like they kind of need more than a few minutes to play together and gel, and that's definitely just me being nitpicky to have something to say about the first quarter. Otherwise, great first quarter. You can't really complain when the team holds their opponent to 6 points. At the half, UConn was up 45-10. Also, UConn has scored either 43 or 45 at the half for the past 4 games. I don't know what it is about those numbers, but I can basically predict the halftime score at this point. They also forced 20 turnovers from Xavier in the first half, and Xavier's season average is 19 turnovers for the entire game. UConn pretty much always does that, but it's always great to see. And then Gino took out all his starters 5 minutes into the third quarter because it was already clear what kind of game it was going to end up being. And then the third and fourth quarters were then the Jana Al-Alfi and Ali Isabel show, which we love to see. It's so nice to come out of a UConn game where both the stars and starters of the team, and then also the bench players, and specifically the bench players who don't get the most minutes usually, both had big moments. As I always say, that's what Big East play is about to me. The broadcasters also say that Paige sitting out today with a knee sprain was always the first one off the bench cheering. We already know this, but I feel like I can't say it enough. A great player, but an even better person and teammate. I was so glad to hear that it was a relatively minor injury and that she'll be back playing this game that she loves relatively soon. I hope she takes all the time that she needs to heal and get back to 100%. So yeah, that's my recap of UConn's game against Xavier today. Let me know, as always, what your thoughts and takeaways were. I have no idea when I'm going to get this up because it is now 11 p.m. A 7:30 start time is too late for me. I much prefer a 1:30 start. Can't get everything you want, but hopefully I'll put this up soon. And that's what happened with the Huskies today. Till next time.